Ladies and gentlemen, I want to read you a Wall Street Journal article. FBI quest for Trump documents started with breezy chats, tour of a crowded closet, why interactions between the Federal Bureau of Investigation Trump team soured remains a mystery. Now, he'll very likely, at some point, be indicted on a crime he didn't commit or on a charge that they're just desperate to utilize in order to get him out and knock him out of 24. The way that they've treated Trump is not the way that they handled Clinton with siphoning classified data outside the U.S. government. Okay, infinitely worse. Okay, Trump has a broken tail light, and he gets the SWAT team after him. Clinton essentially stole 70 vehicles from a car lot from a dealership, and then there was no problem at all. It was just, we couldn't find intent. What happened with Clinton, and I want a Hillary Trump 24, I want Clinton to be the nominee for a number of reasons. But what happened with Hillary Clinton is that she transferred top secret and special access program intelligence and classified data for 4 years. She was able to receive emails with classified information onto servers that the United States government had no access to. She had access to the U.S. government networks. The U.S. government had no access to her networks. And then she deleted 30,000 emails and then destroyed hardware. And then Comey said, although there are violations of the statutes pertaining to classified data, we couldn't find intent or no reasonable prosecutor would indict. He literally stated that one person is above the law. So let's just find out how absurd all of this is. If they indict him, they won't be able to convict him. Here's why. One of the many reasons, but here. Around lunchtime on June 3rd, this is a Wall Street Journal article, a senior Justice Department national security supervisor and 3 FBI agents arrived at former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in Florida to discuss boxes with government records sitting in a basement storage room, along with suits, sweaters, and golf shoes. A few days later, the FBI sent a note asking that a stronger lock be installed on the storage room, signing off, "Thank you, very truly yours," and then the person's name, Chief of Counterintelligence and Export Control Section. He got a thank you note. Okay? A few days later, the Bureau sent a note asking for a stronger lock and giving Trump a thank you note. Okay? Very truly yours, Chief of Counterintelligence and Export Control Section. Now, let's ask, do you think that high-ranking members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, when they're actually investigating criminals or real problems or threats to the U.S., do you think that they go ahead and give these people thank you notes? Do you think that this is the extreme "Make America Great Again" Republican that Biden is warning us about through his slurred speech and through an actual authoritarian background with weird lights and ooh, it's so scary? Liz Cheney and Kinzinger voted 90%, not over 90% of the time with Trump in Congress. Okay, but do you think a thank you note, he can, if they're going to try to prove that he lied to them, that they could just go ahead and here's a thank you note. They came June 3rd, and they were okay with him storing the information in a basement. Okay, they actually asked, "Hey, use another lock." Then there was a whistleblower or sorry, an informant that claims to know that claimed to have known that he had more classified data, which every informant is linked to Clinton in some manner. You could look at the Steele dossier, and you can look at the Alpha Bank absurd stories. I mean, all of these hoaxes were perpetuated by people who are petrified that Republicans will believe, or that voters will believe hoaxes that Trump tries to introduce to the public. But they're the ones who purchased the Steele dossier, paid FEC fines, by the way, and funneled that dossier through the United States government. This is a fact that people don't know about. And when they're told about it, it's either cognitive dissonance or they just don't care because they say Trump deserved it. Okay, or they say, oh well, it was intelligence. It was raw intelligence. They had to look into it. They would never. Democrats and media would never allow. And hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, right now. We're going to get past 200,000 subs, very likely this month. This month's going to be a very important month for a number of reasons. We're going into the biggest Durham probe trial on October 11th. And so check out my segments on the Durham probe. But I'll be back very likely later tonight for a live stream. I might do a live stream tonight. I'm not sure, but be here. But hit subscribe. If you go ahead and you try in a court of law, okay, to indict Trump, and you say, well, we didn't know. We sent the thank you note, but we didn't know they had more classified data. That could have been due to a misunderstanding between his attorneys and the Department of Justice. That is one defense. They were negotiating, and the negotiation, as late as June 3rd, resulted in a thank you note by a top official at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the reality, if you look at the reality, and then check out the segment prior to this one, there's an AZ Central article talking about how one of the authors who wrote numerous books on Trump was invited to Mar-a-Lago, and he remembers Trump saying, well, you know what if they raided Mar-a-Lago? Could you imagine if they did? There's a good chance that Trump knew. There's a very good chance that Trump knew. It's a very good chance also that there's nothing incriminating within those. The fact that he had secret and top secret, yeah, it's not good. However, if the FBI knew, and see, nobody knew that Clinton had those servers. Those were secret servers, okay? What Clinton got away with was infinitely worse. And Democrats, in their inability to accept the word hypocrite or hypocrisy, say, well, that's called whataboutism. That's whataboutism. Yeah, you should. If you're getting away with worse, why are you going after Trump with such enthusiasm and this laser focus and intensity to take him down? Okay, we got a record low in poverty under Trump, according to CNN, and a record high in household median income. And real wages were up. Real wages were up under Trump. Okay? They're now down 4.4%. We have inflation at 8.5 to 9%. Okay? And it's going to stay around there. Unfortunately, we're going to see layoffs. We're going to have a terrible, terrible economic decline. And people would rather have Democrats. They would rather vote for recession. And it's like, you look at what took place in Alaska the other day. It's like, well, how does that help Democrats? Democrats don't have ranked choice in their primaries, do they? Could you imagine? Biden wouldn't be, it would be Bernie Sanders would easily defeat. And I think that Bernie's a tool of the Democratic Party. I'm not saying this because I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I support Trump because I want a great economy and a great foreign policy. Not what we have now, okay? But the ranked choice nonsense, that's why Palin lost. They don't even do that in the Democratic primary, okay? And there's a reason they don't. Because then you'd have somebody like Bernie Sanders being second on all of those lists and then getting all the votes, and it's a whole bunch of nonsense. If they can make it as complicated as possible, that's what they want, okay? And they shouldn't even have voted for that in Alaska. I mean, that was like I don't even want to get into that. But here, the issue with Trump is that he's really not that extreme at all. The apoplectic and hysterical media coverage on Trump, like Biden can say the most offensive, disgusting thing to Charlemagne the God, and immediately the Washington Post will defend Biden, like within a split second. It won't be sensationalized as part of this broad, overwhelming specter of, mashed potato brain Joe's influence on the country and how he's hurting democracy. It's like they create this storybook in this fantasy world where everything Trump does is linked to some kind of nefarious, this widespread problem we have for the soul of our nation. Like, I mean, these people don't even believe in God. Generally, most Democrats, it's fine. If you're an atheist or agnostic, totally fine. But these people are talking about soul and spirit, and it's like these are theological references. And they just despise, like, it's actually Trump himself who broke their spirit They just obsess over the man. They obsess over him, and it's actually working in terms of the media coverage. The media coverage is so intense on Trump. The meltdown affects people who just don't want to hear the meltdown anymore. So they're like, fine, give me a recession. Unfortunately, the economy is going to get worse. Even people who would rather have a recession will say, okay, this economy is terrible. Eventually, Democrats have to, we have to have Republicans just to save this country. And Trump, even if he's indicted, will actually benefit. He'll actually benefit a great deal from being indicted for a number of reasons, and I've spoken about that. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. I should have a live stream tonight at around, I'll probably have a live stream later tonight around 9:30, 9:45. Thank you.